Welcome in. This is your Jock Market Power Hour for this week's AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. I'm Rick Gabe, and that right there, Joe Idoni. Joe, here we go, baby. Not only do we have another market, but some late breaking news that might turn this cash market on its head.
Yeah, you're right. Now that two of the top three players have withdrawn in terms of starting odds for the week, we may see some records broken tonight with one Patrick Cantlay. We'll see how things shake out over the next 40 or so here.
Otherwise, how's everything going, man? You enjoying
Great.
yourself? This feels like the real heart of golf season now.
Yes, I have to admit, after what we saw last week, the greatness, that the presentation that Torrey Pines always seems to give us, a bit disheartening to go back to the Pro-Am, the three-course format. I'm ready for this sort of part of the tour to be over with courses with no shot length data and no video coverage. So, and Pebble is just such a beautiful place. It's kind of a little bit of a shame that it's been relegated to this type of format. That said, there's still plenty of opportunities to make some money here. Let's get it going.
Yeah, so here's what you can do. Go ahead and comment now with your Jock Market username. That will get you entered into a draw because I've got Jock Bucks to give away. And if you want access to them, I need your Jock Market handle. That's basically how it works. And then if you haven't deposited yet, you can use the code POWER. That is up to a $50 deposit bonus. It's the best deposit bonus available. And if you've just stumbled in, you have no idea what we're even talking about, Joe. It's Stock Market DFS. This is the most important time of maybe the whole market. I don't know if I want to say that anymore because you can short guys, but this is a critical time. This is where you can bid on shares of golfers and then add them to your portfolio if you end up winning those shares.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely the most important time. So this is where the action takes place for the next 45 minutes. That's why we're sort of here to cover it live for you. If you're new to this, just like you mentioned, it's stock market times DFS. You blend the two sort of concepts together. So all these sort of ways that you're familiar with playing the stock market, for instance, short selling, live trading, IPO open and close hours, all concepts familiar with the stock market, now available within the context of sport, and in this case, golf. So you were bidding live on shares of athletes over the next couple of minutes. You want to place your bids now and be sure to keep an eye on them over the last 5 minutes or so because it gets crazy.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Pebble Beach. And let's just get the Daniel Berger thing out of the way. Daniel Berger has withdrawn from this event. Now, I believe, don't quote me on this, but if a golfer withdraws in the Jock Market, all those shares, if you happen to bid, that's all going to be like refunded to you, right?
Yeah. But I mean, there's no point in just allocating funds toward Berger at this point.
Right.
But yeah, if you for some reason had some in very early, it looks like he's still around $1 a share at this point. So I don't think anybody's in on him quite yet. But yes, they're very generous in that regard in terms of if your guy withdraws, they will refund your money.
Okay, now with that, I imagine before we play a little bullish or bearish, or actually maybe this is the perfect segue into it. Let's play bullish or bearish. This is our opportunity to choose 4 different golfers and kind of take a stand on them, bullish or bearish. And our first one is the guy at the top, Joe. It's now alone. Patrick Cantlay, you mentioned it. Zalatoris, he gone. Daniel Berger, see you later. It's Patrick Cantlay essentially alone at the top, and I think we might shatter records on him this evening.
I'm trying to pull up now what the highest IPO price is. Okay, so he went for $12 a share at this event last year.
Wow.
And turned you a profit. I think that he's probably going to get there today. I think that he clears the 1165 mark, which is, I believe, where they have him pre-ranked, which would require an 8th place finish or better in terms to get your money back. This is going to come back to haunt me, but I'm going to go bearish here, Rick. Just there's so many variables in this event. I know that he's the cream of the crop, but there's just a lot of wrinkles with 3 different courses and pro-ams and 54-hole cuts. And you throw all this. Look, he was basically shot out of the gate at the Amex, and people basically handed him the trophy through the first 9 holes of the Amex. And then things happened, right? So I'm going to take a bearish stance on him at finishing basically in the top 7 here. What about you?
Yeah, we're using 1164 per shares as fair value, which is about 8.7, top 8 or so, something like that. I think the only position to take is bearish on that number. You could listen. I love Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah.
I understand this is a great spot. I too am impressed that the three most expensive versions of Patrick Cantlay we've ever seen, which I'm showing you on the screen right now, he has turned you a profit. I'm impressed. But if you gave me literally any golfer and said the line is 8.5 in terms of finishing position in a full field event, I would have to take the under or the bearish.
You know what's funny
position.
about like kind of the point that I just like the take that I just made about pro-ams being weird and harder to predict? Look at his 3 top IPOs there. They're all pro-ams, and he made you money in all of them. The Amex twice at Pebble Beach. So clearly Patrick Cantlay is a robot that is unfazed by 6-hour golf rounds. He is so locked in and into the zone. Maybe it is a good idea to play him, but I'm still going to go bearish.
All right, next up, Jason Day, who's probably going to be catching quite a bit of steam now that Daniel Berger out as well. So Jason Day, we're using $6.56 a share as his fair value, which is about a 24th place finish. So Joe, I ask you, Jason Day, bullish or bearish?
So I think it's pretty clear to most of us that he's going to clear that mark. However, that is the mark that is set by his pre-rank. I'm going to go bullish on that mark. Obviously, that's asking him to finish top 25. I looked at his top 20 number in terms of the betting markets right now. He's the second favorite on the board to finish top 20. So he's actually minus 130. You've got to lay to him finish top 20. We're just asking him to finish 25th or better at this projected price. I think that he clears it, like I said, but I'm still going to go bullish on Day at a place that he loves coming off a decent week.
Yeah, I'm with you. Bullish, but that is with our pre-rank, our fair value, which I think he's going to go for significantly more. Yes, I think the steam on Jason Day, though, Joe, it's warranted. I mean, the even if it is just a small, hey, he played well last week. Some of the comments that he's made about health, which has generally been the biggest concern for Jason Day in the last couple of years, have me pretty positive. He's going to maybe the best spot on tour for him. He gets to hide behind the amateurs for 6.5 hours. You know who loves a good 6.5 hour round? Jason Day does. He
plays it every week.
He plays it every week. He can take his time without feeling pressure from his playing opponents. It's the perfect spot for him. I'm bullish. I love it.
They cue him up, and you were live there, Rick. So I don't know if you got the full Jason Day television experience, but they cut to him at the worst. Like, they cut to him as if he's essentially going to go through a normal shot routine and ready to go when they cue him on the coverage. And every time it's still like another 50, 60 seconds because he backs out, he resets, and it just feels like he's on your TV the entire time.
That's amazing. No, I did not see that last week. That's so good. All right, next up, Matt Kuchar. Similar fair value, similar position. So we're kind of playing that $6.65 a share, 24th or so. Joe, bullish or bearish on Cooch around Pebble Beach?
Bullish, man. Look at the numbers there. 6 out of 7. He's returning you a profit. This is telling you all you need to know. He played terrible for the majority of last year, but this graph illustrates it beautifully. These are 7,000-yard golf courses, which at this point in his career should be right within his wheelhouse. Look, just playing really well, going to a spot that he likes. 66% average ROI over the last 7 events. And when I sort of calculated them all together, I'm going to be bullish on Cooch this week.
I tried to be bearish on him, but yeah, you're looking at it. This is a really good stretch of golf in which he has been profitable. And you're right. This is really the time of year and what I think are probably 6 courses now, 6 events that are really good for Cooch, and he's showing signs of life. This doesn't even include, listen, you can say what you want, but like played well at the QBE, played well at whatever other stupid little event he played. You know what I mean? Like, he's been playing a lot of golf and playing a lot of good golf. Yeah, the father-son. So like, listen, the guy's seeing himself on the top of a leaderboard. I'm in bullish on Cooch, which leaves us with maybe the course history guy, one of them, Kevin Streelman, $4.82 a share. That's about a 35th place finish or better. If you just look at past history around here, that should be no problem for Streelman. Are you bullish or bearish that he can pull it off one more time?
Yeah, if we're talking 35th or better, I'm going to go bullish once again. Streelman just eats up Pebble, and it's one of those spots where course history tends to stick a little bit. You look at his Sundays at this event in particular, when they just get to Pebble Beach and his scoring average is like 66. He's been fantastic. I looked at his top 20 number two. It's like plus 130 in terms of the betting market to finish inside the top 20. We're just asking him basically at that projected price to finish 34th or better. I'm going to say bullish.
Yeah, this is a hard one. I'll for sake of difference, I'll take the bearish side. He has not played particularly well leading into this. I am generally not a believer that guys can flip the switch. Maybe it's a Larry Fitzgerald effect. Maybe if Larry Fitzgerald was just caddying for Kevin Streelman, he'd be a top 10 player on the PGA Tour. But I just think that this has to end at some point, and I think we're going to see that this week. I'll be bearish on Kevin Streelman here.
Okay.
But that's scary. It's scary.
Yeah.
I'm terrified.
It's scary to be bullish on Streelman too, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's probably true. All right, let me give away a little cashola here. How about MB Gator fan? Congratulations. 20 Jock Bucks coming your way. I will inform the guys over at Jock Market, and they will pay you out in a couple business days, something like that. They usually do it pretty quick. Congratulations, you're on the board. If you want to be like MB Gator fan, go ahead and drop your Jock Market username in the chat right now. That will get you entered in, and I've got some more to give away as we go on for the rest of the evening. All right, Joe, it's about that time. I'm going to unveil the big board for the first time, but before I do, there is just no other scenario in which Patrick Cantlay is by far the most expensive golfer this evening, right?
No. He's got to be.
Well, he's already off to a really good start. $10.
Say he's not.
No, $10.27 a share. So you are already asking Patrick Cantlay to finish about 11th or better. How high could this conceivably go? I think you mentioned $12 at this event last year is the highest he's ever been. Can we get to 12 tonight?
Look, I think it's just tougher in general now, and the guys, Austin and Mike Van Veen, who have been doing this for a while, understand the strategy has kind of evolved in Jock Market from where we were at a year ago. I think the number of shares available is significantly amplified as well. So we're not seeing as high of numbers in general. That said, this feels like one of those events we could get there. He's just proven that he's been able to do it and still return you money. And he's basically the only guy in the – it's a unique scenario where we really only see one guy under 20-1, and he's 7-1. So the sports books are basically telling you he has 3 times the chance to win this thing as anybody else in the field. So it seems – I think we get to 12. Oh,
that was me being muted. Yeah, that was me being muted. You are correct that this is, I think, the only scenario. Like, this is such a unique situation where this was already top heavy, and it was already clear that Cantlay was the guy. And then we took out Zalatoris, and it was clear that Cantlay and Berger were the guys. And then we took out Berger, and that is such a rare occurrence that I think people might just say, "Give me the guy at the top. Give me the guy."
Right.
And especially because he hasn't even burnt. He's made you a profit. The 3 most expensive times he's ever been, he's turned you a profit.
I know. And there's really there's no look, the guy was the player of the year last year. He won the tour championship. He's playing fantastically still coming into this event. And he's basically now faced with slaying in terms of other elite players in the field. Spieth, Day, and Rose. This is a dream scenario for him to just gobble up as many FedEx points as possible here.
Let's look at the top 10 projected ranked golfers, because this is important here. Because these are the guys that are going to break your ties. So in the Jock Market for golf, especially where there's so many ties, if there's a 3-way tie for 5th, the ties are broken by the pre-rank. So number 2 is Justin Rose. And Rosie's currently going for $5.31 a share, which is essentially asking him at the moment to finish 32nd or better. He's been playing pretty darn well, Joe. Played well
Yeah.
again last week, has been on the first couple pages a lot recently. He's been turning you a profit a lot recently. I mean, this feels like a really good version of Rose.
It does. I think the pre-rank and the fair value price is a little bit higher than I would have it. That said, I bet Rose this week. I had him last week. Our guy Andy is sort of was one of the first sort of on this train and this trend that's continued to rise. Look, I thought he was fantastic last week. I think that he misplayed the 18th hole, or he probably would have been in that playoff. I think that going through his mind at the time was that he needed to make eagle because Rahm was coming, Zalatoris was going to make another birdie, and he played himself out of the hole by trying to get too close to it, hit hybrid, dunked it in the water. Really, all he needed was to blow it over the back of the green and make birdie there, and he was in the playoff. But that's beside the point. He's playing fantastic, usually good this time of the year, good on POA, good on coastal, good on short golf courses. A lot of things align very nicely for him. I think that he's there in the high eights. I think that he makes a much more attractive buy than the high nines.
Yeah, he just whiffed that hybrid on 18 and just like dunked it in the. And he probably thinks, he probably doesn't think 15 is the winning number, or
That's
the
what I'm
number that gets
thinking,
into a playoff.
because I was watching it pretty intently, and it looked like from the coverage he was switching back and forth, and you could tell him and his caddy were having a conversation. Like, if I'm going to get it close and put it before that hill to bring it down, I've got to just barely clear it. And I think he should have just hit 3-wood, blown it over the back, and made birdie like almost everyone else did who did it back there.
Yeah, the rest of this top 10 is pretty interesting. So Daniel Berger's out. Don't bid on him. Bezadenhout is $2.13. Cameron Tringale, he's your fifth pre-ranked golfer. He's $5.84, Joe. But the rest of the top 10, and I'll give this a refresh, and it's still very, very early. Hughes, Fitzpatrick, Spieth, Lanto, and Denny McCarthy are all still hanging at $1. I'll give that a refresh, but is there a name or two out of that top 10 that you've already clicked the favorite button on that you're going to be tracking for the rest of the evening?
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at Cam Tringale. I thought he was very, speaking of what they did show on the coverage last week, they really didn't show much of him. And he played really solid, ended up finishing third, actually outplayed Rahm and Sung J M in his group, who they showed plenty of. So I felt like he may have been a little bit of the forgotten guy. I don't know if the public sentiment is all the way in on it. Now, when Zalatoris and Berger withdraw, I'm sure that gets a little elevated there. But he's just been playing great golf for a while. You look at Houston, you look at the Zozo on there, you look at Farmers. He's been top 10ing events pretty consistently. This isn't the type of platform that's going to require a win or bust type mentality with your dollars. So I think that he presents a good bit of upside. It was a safe floor.
So I followed that group on I don't want to say Sunday during the final rounds, and I was super impressed with him, right? And he was in a group with guys that are much more talented than he, and he kind of hung tough and shot a 1 under par and held his position. I love the take that you can make a lot of money on Tringale this week without him winning, which, as we've seen, something he hasn't done before. And there's not a lot of markets in which that sentence is true, but this is one of them. So I think that's a really strong point, Joe.
Right. Well, I think interestingly enough, like you look at Cantlay, who had 3 wins last year. So he had Memorial, he had the 2 playoff wins. His average ROI for the season was a little over 23%. You look at a guy like Louis, right, who didn't win all year, is still searching for that illustrious PGA Tour win, and he was at 33%. So that tells you sort of all you need to know. You made more money on Louis last year than you did on the player of the year who won 3 times. So you just have to it's just a different way to sort of attack things, and you've got to kind of adjust to that mindset in Jock Market.
Yeah, that's pretty sharp. All right, back to the big board here. We are already through $11 for Patrick Cantlay. Now $11.02. Justin Rose, now $7.16. Jason Day, who we've already talked about, and he has already surpassed our fair value that we set beforehand. He's $6.75. Seamus Powers here hanging at $6.50, and Mav McNeely. Those are 2 guys that I find to be pretty interesting because they're both playing very well, but McNeely's going to get the big course history boost, Joe. Not even the course history boost, but like the house on the course boost, right? Which is the biggest boost you can get.
Yes, that is the biggest boost you can get. I don't know. I feel like he's a little bit overpowered popular this week. I think it was Will Gray say that this tweet out that the handle in terms of sportsbook, in terms of dollars, in terms of tickets, in terms of outrights total, it's all Mav McNeely is their biggest exposure. So I think a lot of people are hip to it. And when a lot of people are hip to it, it usually makes the price a little too lofty in Jock Market. So I think I'm probably going to pass. I don't really have him favorited, but we'll see what that thing ticks up to.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I agree. Listen, if McNeely wins this and burns me, okay,
Yes,
I'll
same.
survive, right? Like I just think it is probably more likely that he finishes between 12th and 22nd or whatever than wins this, right? And it's just like, yeah, it's fine. Golf is still really hard. We constantly see guys go to their home course. We constantly see guys play. Just weird stuff happens. Like I don't need to be on this train.
Okay, so he's playing really well, and he's on one side of the train where I think that he's very popular. You're hearing his name a ton. A guy on the opposite end of that is Jordan Spieth.
Oh my
He's
God,
playing through one of the worst stretches of his career. I don't have it in front of me, but I comes to my imagination that he plays pretty well here. I think that his type of player who are really good around the green, you see guys like him and Phil, and these guys have success at Pebble, given these are the hardest greens on tour to hit in terms of size. It's been abysmal. Is this a chance, do you think, to potentially buy low, or do you need to see something first?
I am so scared about Jordan Spieth, but this is a really cool format because as of right now, he is still $1 a share.
Luck,
so
yeah.
Everyone has been like, I don't know about Jordan Spieth. So there is definitely going to be a price I'd be willing to pay on Jordan Spieth. It'd be pretty low. Listen, I love the metrics. He is in the worst 7-event stretch of his career. The history at Pebble is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But oh my God, he looks like he's struggling out there. His pre-shot, you want to talk about pre-shot routines? His pre-shot routine is terrifying. I'm generally very, very bullish on Spieth right now, but he's still $1 a share, right? Like, what's your number on him?
I've got him at 725, which is basically going to ask him to finish like 21st or better. It's still a risky number for me, even there. I don't think he gets to his fair value, which is 833. So I'm a little over $1 under that. But, I wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of lingers down there low and people are more, attracted to guys like McNeely, guys like Tringali, guys like Rose sitting right there around him. And he could get a little bit overlooked. What did he do here last year? Because he wasn't playing great coming into that.
He went for $7. He finished 16th. So that's the top 5 or 6 or whatever, made you $9 a share. Yeah, no. Listen, I mean, he played better at Phoenix the week before, leading into this event. But this is a buzzsaw, dude. This is just an absolute buzzsaw that we're looking at the top.
I know, but it's just, there's always a floor and there's a bottom for every guy. We've talked about it many times before, and you want to definitely buy at the right time there and sort of ride the elevator back up.
This is probably the only format I would consider him in.
Yeah, same.
I think is kind of the way that I look at this. Okay, so the way the board is shaping up, and we are about, 20 minutes or so away from this IPO closing. So I'll give away some more money in just 1 second. Make sure that your Jock Market username is in the chat. If you haven't deposited yet, use the code POWER. It's up to a $50 deposit bonus. But the way that this is shaping up, we're going to see, Joe, I think a lot of it's going to be like Cantlay, Rose Day, and then you could tell me any order for the next 20 guys and I'd probably believe it. Like Mito is trying to show up here. He's $5.99. Lucas Glover, $5.55 a share. Here comes Jordan, $5 a share.
There he is. Yep.
Streelman at $5.10. Fitzpatrick's the 25th ranked player in the world. Remember him? It's just like we haven't seen him in a while.
So overlooked. And because we haven't seen him in a while, and because we don't have the full data from his sort of strokes gained and his stats because he has a win on the European Tour. He has 2 second places on the European Tour. I guarantee if you pulled in that data into any sort of model, it's going to help him out a lot and going to make him look like in a lot better form. I believe he also has a top 10 when they played the US Open here. Maybe it was 12th, but still a decent performance for him. I think that he's highly overlooked. I bet him this week at 40-1. I thought the number was crazy. Great putter. Gonna put it in the fairway. I like him.
I think he might be that kind of, I don't want to say forgotten elite because I don't think he's an elite and whatever, but like, yeah, like he could be the most mispriced guy when this is all said and done in about 20 minutes or so. So I'm not surprised by that at all. I want to go a little bit further down the board because we spend a lot of time talking about the guys at the top. I want to talk about some guys a bit further. So let me pull up current IPO, and Cantlay is doing his thing, $11.11. But let's go further. Sub $4, Joe. We talked about Kuchar already, Austin Eckroat, Ryan Palmer, Min-Woo Lee. Is there anybody on this list that I'm kind of showing right now that you might want to pay a little bit of attention to?
Okay, one guy I wanted to get your take on. And interestingly enough, I've been really high on this guy this week. I didn't want to overextend, so I put in a very early bid on him, which I don't usually do for like 40 shares, and it's clear that price. So I have to let it go because I told myself I would. But Sahith is at $4. I love him this week. I see a lot of comments in the chat about it. What's your take on his optimism coming into this event?
Yeah, pretty bullish. He's played well 3 events in a row. I think he's going to play Phoenix as well, so he's going to play at least 5 straight events because he got a sponsor's invite to Phoenix. Yeah, there are a few guys as talented and as hungry for he needs points, he needs good finishes than Sahith, and I think his game is getting a lot more comfortable on the PGA Tour. So I'm quite bullish. I think this is going to be a pretty good stretch of golf for him.
Made every cut so far in the fall, seems to be trending in the right direction. So Will had a comment about a great short game. I saw that was kind of on display very much so last week. Great POA putter. I think that he has the length to take advantage of the par 5s, particularly on Spyglass and Monterey. So yeah, I was bullish. I'll tell you, I had a $3.90 bid on him, which I thought was really high early. And all my shares are gone. So I'm not going to go back in, but I'm going to miss out on Sahith this week.
All right, let me give away a little more money here. The next $20 in Jock Bucks goes to Peasy. Peasy164. Congratulations, you are on the board. If you want to be like Peasy and you want to earn a little bit of that Jock Bucks, go ahead and make sure your Jock Market username is in the chat right now. That is the very simple way and the only way to get entered in the draw. All right. Let me refresh the big board. We've got about 15 minutes or so until this IPO closes. Cantlay, 11.16. $4 clear of Justin Rose at the moment. What was it, $12, right? That's the record? That's his record?
Yeah, that's his record, yeah. At this event.
It's going over, let me tell you that. My guy, Brandon Harkins, 238. Min-Woo, he's the 51st ranked player in the world. He's 229. There was also somebody else. Where was Satoshi? Satoshi Kodaira right here, $2.12. But there's some decent names below $2. Charlie Hoffman, who did he withdraw last week or the week before?
I think it was the week before, I want to say.
I don't remember. But $1.84. Are there any really deep flyers that you would take here? Because there's still a pretty significant portion of this field. I mean, half this field's still at $1.
Yeah. I like the 2 guys right under Kodaira right now, Hughes and Putnam. I think could go well. I've had some shares of Kevin Chappell at really cheap prices where it's turned out okay for me. I'm just kind of glancing through the guys here in the $1 range. Nothing quite is really sticking out to me, but anyone that, yeah, you're right. Hughes, over half the field is still at $1. So
yeah, half the field's at $1. Hughes
Peter Malnati, I kind of like this week a little bit. Doc played pretty well last week. I don't know. These are just guys who could get it going.
Hughes is the 6th pre-ranked golfer, which is valuable. Very, very valuable. Half of this field is still $1. Let me see what's going on here. If you want to take some deep flyers, Sung Yul No has made 2 cuts in a row. Don't look back any further than that. But Sung You'll Know has made 2 cuts in a row. Matthew Neesmith, $3.25. That's someone that I think is pretty interesting. But I want to go back to the top here, Joe, and kind of see. Are you have you found yourself, as we hopefully, or not hopefully, we're definitely exiting course rotation season, have you found yourself being able to take advantage of kind of course rotations and different scoring conditions in the jock market over the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think there are going to be possibilities again this week. So what we've seen sort of historically, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that Spyglass tends to typically play the hardest. At least I know in the betting markets, and there were guys who got out early on the stadium course at the Amex a couple weeks ago, like Lee Hodges comes to mind. Guys who got out early and posted a good round and then had the 2 easier rounds coming are obviously a little bit more attractive, and he was able to sort of hold on to that until most of Sunday in terms of being in contention. So Streelman is another guy I look at just because he's just got this thing with Pebble, man. I look at even the rounds when there's been final rounds that play over par on average for the top 20, and you'll just randomly see a Streelman 65 in there. So he's just able to do it Sunday. I would pay a lot of attention to that if you see him coming in maybe 5 or 6 off the lead. But yeah, I think it's absolutely an advantageous roadmap in terms of Pebble, and something unique. You can look into it for Jock Market.
I love it. 8:45 p.m. Eastern time by my clock, which means we're about 12, 13-ish minutes away from this IPO closing. So we're coming down the home stretch here. Things are shaping up, and there doesn't seem, Joe, to be much resistance to Patrick Cantlay at the top. He's $11.50. $12 is the most expensive he's ever been. I think 12. What's the highest ever? It's in the 12s, isn't it?
Thought it was Rahm.
Rahm at Phoenix, I think.
Yeah.
1251. So he's already 1150. That's already a top 12 price ever.
Yeah.
So we're in it right now. We're in historical territory. But we already discussed how good he's been when he's been expensive. Kevin Kisner's here. 550. Lucas Glover 555. I'm pretty bullish on Glover. Kisner's, he should be like his course fit is better than his course history is here. Do you care about that?
I look at a blend of both. I typically put a little more emphasis on course history, I would say, than most. So yeah, it's a little bit concerning. I know, he's kind of had. Did a little bit of looking into it, and I know that he's kind of had this sticking point of not liking POA, where he's made comments in the past about how he does not like the putting service. However, when I looked into it, it's a really good putter on POA. He's like 11th in the field.
Yeah. So it's like his worst surface, but he's still very good on it.
Yeah, he's still very good.
He's right, but he's also wrong.
So his best surface is Bermuda, and he was 10th. And POA, he's 11th. So he loves Bermuda and hates POA, but he's still like in the top 10% of the field in terms of putting. You're right. He's definitely a guy that's also mentioned that he circles these sort of 7,000-yard courses every year as an attempt to sort of get in there. It seems like a good fit for him. There's a price. I tend to like him a little bit more than Glover this week, in my opinion.
All right, fair enough. We've got Jordan Spieth still hanging at that $5 mark. Matt Fitzpatrick, $4.99. Lantos, $4.83. He had the round of the day at Torrey Pines last week. And then you got a couple of poppers or a couple of guys that should be good course fits here, Joe. So you've got Tom Hoge, who's got the runner-up finish at the American Express, the last 3 course rotation that we got, and a T4 at the RSM. And then you've got Ches Reavie, who's got decent history. He's another one of these guys that, like, hey, 5 times a year, if Reavie finished T9, no one would be surprised.
No one would be surprised at all. Yeah, Reavie's up there. I like Neesmith a lot this week. I think that he's got, there's been a little bit of historical data that would indicate you've got to have some good finishes prior here before guys end up winning. Neesmith kind of checks that box with a 16th and an 11th coming in. Nick Taylor also won this event 2 years ago at really long odds, coming back to what he has been open about, saying is his favorite golf course in the world. Back-to-back top 30s, not playing horribly. It looks to me as if he's made a bunch of cuts in a row. He's been able to return ROI in 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive events. Maybe not a bad spot for Nick Taylor, sitting right there at like 308 right now is a nice price on him.
Every time I refresh the big board, Patrick Cantlay has added a quarter to his price. Now 11.75. So we have not even gotten to the flurry at the end here, and we are 25 cents away from the most expensive Patrick Cantlay's ever been. I think we're going to break it tonight. There was something else I wanted to ask you about, Joe. Oh boy, it was. Now I can't remember what it was. Really good job by me. This is why I usually write stuff down.
Where is Grant
remember.
Snedeker?
Oh, you want to see where Sneds is at?
Anything on Sneds this week?
I am pretty out on Sneds at this point. He's
Okay,
$1.90.
The numbers aren't good. I know that he was popular last week at Farmers after a couple of decent weeks and missed the cut on the number, I think. Did make a little bit of a charge at it. But yeah, he's got a little ways to go before I think I'm bullish on him.
Yeah, he was $3.99 last week. He's pretty cheap this week, $1.90. Let me refresh the big board. And while I do that, I'll give away a little bit of money here because we are about, oh boy, we're getting close. About 7 minutes away from entering that, final kind of IPO push here. So the next $20 is going to go to I bet it's AT Lean 87. Congratulations, you're on the board. We'll get that money over to you in the next couple of days. If you want to also win $20, you can go ahead and enter your Jock Market username in the chat right now. That's simply all it takes. But we're about 7 minutes away, Joe. So I'll start this, dissension a little bit earlier here. Your ideal portfolio tonight would look like how many golfers and what price ranges would they come from?
Yeah, about 7 guys. I like to sort of stick to it all I kind of adjust on the fly, as I'm sure everyone in here does, but I like to kind of go from that $3 to $7 range. I don't like reaching too high up top, and I'd rather find a bevy of guys that I think can finish in the top 10. The 180 shares, I believe, was the amount on each player where we started the night tonight, which is a good bit. So I think that they're expecting a lot of volume in this, which could leave some opportunity on the table if you can kind of go hunting down at the bottom.
Alert, alert. Patrick Cantlay continues to climb, now 1188, and that is now already, with about 6 to 8 minutes to go, Joe, the 6th most expensive golfer ever, not just Cantlay, ever. So John Rahm, Webb Simpson, Brooks Koepka, Cantlay at this event last year, and then John Rahm at the American Express this past year, just a couple of weeks ago. We are in historic territory, my friend.
He's going to do it. I think he's going to do it. Our guy, Mike Van Veen, is just driving up the price. I know that he's the one doing it on Cantlay. I see you, Mike. But yeah, it's asking him to finish 7th or better, though. I can't do that. I don't know. It seems like so many things can happen. And look, if he wins, you double your money. Great. He's probably in a top 5, like you mentioned. I would rather allocate my funds into someone in a little bit of a lower range with the potential to sort of hit the rocket ship.
All right, let's go check in on that top 10 real quick before I let you out of here, which I've got to do here in just a minute. But Cantlay, we already talked about. Rose is 777. Berger, he's out. Don't touch him. Bezadenhout, who I think people are bullish on, is 631. Tringale, 769. Hughes is $5. Fitzpatrick is 642. Spieth, 525. Wow. Oh, my God. So outside of, correct me if I'm wrong here, outside of Denny McCarthy, Jordan Spieth is the least expensive top 10 golfer. There is a real hesitancy to back Spieth right now.
Yeah, and I'm going to end up being there if the number's still right. I don't love it, but you guys are forcing me into, okay, I see a little bit of a jump now to 595, so it looks like some people were waiting late. Lanto right there as well at 550. I know a lot of people like Lanto this week. I feel like Spieth is gonna creep into the mid 7s.
All right, well, it's about time for you to go find out if he's going to be part of your portfolio. So this is the time of evening where we let Joe go do his thing. He's going to put his bids in. We're going to talk about the shares and his portfolio when this thing wraps, which is going to be in just a few minutes, because by my clock, it is 8:53 p.m. Eastern time. And at 8:57, in about 4 minutes, we are going to enter a 90-second window. That window means that this IPO can close at any time randomly. That's good for you. That's good for everybody, so that all you smart folk out there can't write their bots to get all the bids in at the last millisecond. It's so that you can't do that. So very, very smart on the Jock Market, guys. So I'll take you the rest of the way. and I'll give you an update to the big board here because we are now in historic, almost uncharted territory with Patrick Cantlay, who is currently, at this very moment, $11.88. $11.88 for Patrick Cantlay. That is asking him to finish, oh boy, about eighth or better. Eighth is a $12 per share payout. Luckily, Cantlay does indeed break all ties because he is the number one pre-ranked golfer. So you're going to get the full payout from Cantlay no matter what that payout or whatever that position is. Behind Cantlay, a little bit of a jump here from Cameron Tringale, your fifth pre-ranked golfer, someone I'm pretty bullish on. He's $8.33 a share. That's asking him to finish about 16th or better. Seems somewhat reasonable. Justin Rose and Mav McNeely hanging strong at 777 and 775 respectively, with Jason Day and all that sweet, sweet course history checking in at $7.50. To put Jason Day and that $750 price tag into perspective, it's asking him to finish about 20th or better. Pretty darn good for J-Day. Seamus Power is the only other golfer over $7, and he's $7.46 before you get down to Christian Bezuidenhout at $6.99. Let's give the board a refresh here because I know the bids are coming in fast. I know they're coming in quickly. There's notifications firing away. But since last refresh, we have not seen a movement on Patrick Cantlay. Still $11.88. We have seen a pretty sizable jump on Maverick McNeely. He is now $8 flat. Obviously, he's got the great course history. He's got the great form coming in. He's got the house on the golf course, all that good stuff. Mav McNeely, $8. A little bit of a movement on both Jordan Spieth and Matt Fitzpatrick. They're now both mid sixes. Spieth at 640, Fitzpatrick at 642. They are both top 10 pre-ranked golfers. If we sort by that top 10, now the cheapest top 10 golfer is Denny McCarthy, followed by Lonto Griffin, followed by Mackenzie Hughes. They're all three of those are $555 or cheaper. Let me see if I can give the big board another refresh here. By my clock, it's 8:56. So we are still outside that window. We're not in that randomized closing window just yet, but we are probably about 25 seconds away from it. Mm-hmm. So you've got time. You've got time here. Okay, here we go. The top of the board shaping up. If you told me any order for these guys, Tringale, McNeely, Rose, Day, whatever it is, if you told me that they finished anywhere between 2 and 12, I'd probably agree with you. We are seeing a little bit of steam on Kuchar. We had Kuchar's fair value before this IPO started at about $6.65. He is now $5.55. So he has not crossed over that fair value yet. That fair value at $6.65 or $6.68 would put him at 24th. He would have to finish. He's not there yet. So there is still a little bit of juice to squeeze out of Matt Kuchar. Let's see what else we got. A little bit of juice to squeeze out of Lonto Griffin. His fair value for this evening, $8.08. That's a 17th place finish or better. He's $5.55. Pretty big gap there, about $2.50. And we are now in that 90-second window. That 90-second window is hot. So that means this IPO can close at literally any moment. I'm going to try to give this big board a refresh here and see if we've got any movement. And we do. And it is, of course, at Patrick Cantlay, who is now $11.99. The 1 penny discount. He's on sale from the most expensive he's ever been, which is $12 at this event last year. I think it's safe to say he's going to get there because we're still open right now. Justin Rose is now the second most expensive golfer, $861. He's seen a little bit of a bump, and he is your second pre-ranked golfer. Little bit, tiny bits of movement on Spieth. Fitzpatrick did leapfrog him. He's now $7.12. We are seeing Kuchar hang at $5.55. That's a little bit surprising. I thought there'd be a little bit more behind him. Minwoo, I'm going all the way down the list here. Minwoo's $3.90. I like that number. What else do I like? Oh, maybe Eckroat. Austin Eckroat at $3.50. I got to give this a refresh. I got to see if our boy just broke his record. I got to see if Cantlay got there. And we're still open. We're still open for business. Yeah, there it is. Patrick Cantlay, $12 on the button. So he has now tied the most expensive he has ever been. And look at this. Justin Rose, $909. That's probably the most expensive he's ever been. Yeah, by a mile. Yeah, by a mile. Justin Rose, the most expensive he's ever been. Cameron Tringale, $875. That's probably the most expensive he's ever been. It is. Seamus Power, $8. Same story. No, it's not. He was $8.91 in Bermuda, and he turned you a profit there as well. Matt McNeely at $8 a share. That is the most expensive he's ever been. So we are seeing quite a few records being broken here this evening, and we are still, as of this moment, we're still hot, Joe.
Yeah, still live.
8:59 by my clock. It's got to be ending any second here. I'm going to try to refresh the board. Cantlay. Oh, Cantlay. $12.15. $12.15, you sickos. $12.15.
Come on, break the record now.
Clearly the most expensive he's ever been. This is the fourth most expensive anyone has ever been. The overall record
we're closed.
In the Jock Market is $12.51. We'll give that a refresh in just 1 second. But wow. Shut it down.
Wait, what was the record?
The record's $12.51.
Okay, I'm seeing 12:21, so I don't think he got there, but I think that can still update. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll let the dust settle here in just 1 second. We want to know who you got in your portfolio, so go ahead and drop your guys in the chat. I'll give away a little bit more money, but before I do that, actually, Joe, let me give away a little bit more. We're gonna let everything kind of funnel over. Make sure that we have the final numbers. I'll give away $20 here. The next one goes to Sir Cope Dude. Congratulations, dude. You are on the board. $20 coming your way. I'll give out $20 more here in just a few minutes, so make sure your Jock Market username is in the chat right now. I'll give the board a refresh, Joe, but while we're doing that, why don't you tell us who has made your portfolio for the Pebble Beach Pro-Am?
You got it. 9 guys. Here we go. Jason Day.
Okay.
Kevin
are you going in order of most expensive?
Yes.
Okay.
I will go in order of price that I paid for them. Day, Streelman, Kuchar, all in our bullish or bearish segment. Then I scooped up a little Matt Jones, and then I just got 5 guys in the sub $4 round here to sort of just take some dart throws. Minwoo Lee.
Love it.
393. Wait, this just switched up on me. Mark Hubbard, Matt Neesmith, Peter Malnati, and Brandon Wu at a whopping $1.80. So those are my 9 guys. Went low. Obviously, people went very high at the very top of the board on Patrick Cantlay, so we'll see how that works out for me.
I love it. So that is Day, Streelman, Kuchar, Matt Jones, Minwoo Lee, Mark Hubbard, Matt Neesmith, Peter Malnati, Brandon Wu for Joe. Let's see. The chat says Shane got Seamus Power Hour. That's a good play on word. Seamus Power Hour, Glover, Putnam, Kadira, Harkins. Oh, I like that.
Why do you like Harkins?
Oh, I'm okay. So he won last week on the Corn Ferry.
I didn't know that.
He's a Northern California guy. He's got like 2 top 25s at Pebble, and he won. So have you ever heard of this? I had not heard, or I think I've heard of this before, but I don't pay much attention to it. Something called the Pebble Beach Invitational. It is a non-tour event for professionals. So like Kisner has won it. Tommy Gainey has won it. Tommy Armour has won. They play it every single year. Really? Harkins won it last year at Pebble.
Oh, great info. Good intel there.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't pick that up this week.
That's why. All right, here we go. Let me get Joe's shares out of here. Okay. Patrick Cantlay did indeed, Joe, go for $12.21, which is the 4th most expensive golfer ever and the most expensive he's ever been. He broke his own record. So we thought this was coming, and we have now confirmed it. Patrick Cantlay, the lone dog, and he's $3.12 more expensive than anybody else.
Yeah, everything aligned for him. I'm nervous about it, Rick, but I can see why many people aren't. Like, here's my thing. If he finishes 4th this week, you make $3.50 a share for a top 5 finish. That's tough for me to stomach, but yeah, I totally see the upside like anyone else does. He's the clear favorite to win this event. Like we mentioned earlier, he probably has 3 times as good a chance to hold that trophy at the end of it as anyone else, according to the sports books. Yeah.
Rose is next, 909. Tringali, 888. Power and McNeely at $8 a piece. 777 for Bezadenhout. Jason Day, 775. Isn't he the second betting favorite?
Yeah, he is.
Wow. I
Yeah,
think I'm pretty surprised by this.
I bet him he is. He's second in terms of top 20 and top 10 odds as well, which is why I liked it here. Surprised Spieth is there. He's like third or fourth on the betting board right now, I believe. So, Tringale, Power, McNeely, Bezadenhout. I am a bit surprised that all
Yeah.
four of those players cleared Day, Spieth, Fitzpatrick.
Are people not as excited about Day as I thought they were?
I guess not. Not in
I
the
guess
jock
not.
market, at least.
Not when you got to put your money where your mouth is. Streelman 605. So that makes sense. Okay, the other Kevin Kisner 602. I'm just kind of scrolling down here for some guys that we talked about. Sahith went for 455. That's pretty good, I think.
Who went for 455?
Sahith.
Oh yeah, that's not bad. I made a hard and fast rule for myself. I wouldn't go over 4. You're right. He could easily pay that off. He's setting up great. He's trending to sort of top 25 this week. I just feel like the popularity of him is well known.
Would you consider taking this suggestion from Austin, which is in regards to shorting Cantlay? Because when you get a historically big IPO like we have gotten tonight, and you mentioned it, there's only a handful. Like if Cantlay has a great week and finishes T11 and you're shorting him, you've made money.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't mind this strategy at all, Austin. You've got to be able to put up a lot. I know you got it, the account. So, but yeah, look, I put out something last week. I think that the short price on John Rahm at one point, when people just assumed like midday 2 that he was going to win, was like 1890. So the only way, if you were to buy shares of John Rahm on Thursday, because that was day 2 in a weird sort of scheduling week, was to finish first or second. It was the only way for you to make money on Rahm shares last week, to buy him on Thursday. So yeah, it seemed like an obvious short position. He played great. It's not like he sucked, and you still were able to sort of pay that off because he ended up finishing third a little bit. I'd be more inclined to short it than I would in terms to finish top 7 or better.
Yeah. Let me give away our final $20 tonight. It goes to Keith Strongborn. Oh, that's a good name, Keith. You should be like a professional athlete or like the president or something. I don't know. Strongborn. Oh my gosh. I'd run through a wall for that guy. Congratulations. And Joe, we are putting another power hour in the books, my friend. This is always fun. And I'm just happy to be back to our normal Wednesday time slot.
Happy to be back to Wednesday. Excited for next week. Obviously, a Super Bowl weekend, so that will be a huge weekend for Jock Market. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but I know that they're going to have some awesome promotions that they're going to roll out for Super Bowl weekend. So make sure you do well this week so the account is well funded for Super Bowl weekend. Plus, Waste Management will be here Wednesday. Then we head back to California for Riv, right? And then we come my way. So we head from sort of your old coast to my coast for a little Florida swing. So good month of golf incoming.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to get your feet wet this week, but to prepare for all of that, you can use the code POWER to get yourself a $50 deposit bonus. But otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in. You can follow Joe on Twitter at TorPicks. You can find me at RickRunGood. This has been your Jock Market Power Hour for this week's Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Good luck.
See ya.